So we'll start again just for another couple of rounds of this alternate nostril breathing with our thumb and our pinky and ring finger. Inhale, right nostril. Hold. Exhale, left nostril. Inhale, left nostril. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Good. And now we'll just lower our hand and we'll just breathe, inhaling and exhaling. And when inhale, we'll inhale right into our belly and then into our ribs and then into our chest. So we're going to have a very deep opening breath. So inhaling and then exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling. All right, so we'll just stretch our legs out and we can come back onto our hands and knees. And we will do just a few movements of our hips just to really wake them up. So we'll come back with our hips towards our feet. And then we will move to one side and come up and over and around and back. So we're just, and then we'll go the other way. So we're just loosening our hips up and feeling a sense of release, possibly. If we're doing it in the morning, we've been sleeping on our back or our side or whatever, and we may not have had an opportunity to move very much. All right, now it's your time to be creative freewheeler and just move your hips however you like. If you find a sticky spot, just rest there and breathe into it and see if you can release some of the tension. So you shouldn't feel any pain in your back. It should be actually quite liberating. All right, now we'll our hips are a little bit looser, and now we're going to just use raise our right hand up and come underneath and stretching out our shoulder here. And then we'll come back up, inhaling and stretching our hand out, and then we're going to drop that shoulder to the ground, lift the opposite hand up, and we can put the back of the hand either on the sacrum by bending the elbow, or we can draw that hand around the wrist into a bind. And this gives you an opportunity to deepen your twist by lifting up the shoulder and maintaining a deep twist here. And we'll breathe here into the open side body. And now we'll put your hand down and lift that arm up again and do the other side. So once again, we're lifting that arm up and bringing it under, exhaling, and lifting it up again, and bringing it under through that keyhole and exhaling. And last time we're inhaling up, stretching, and then exhaling and dropping that shoulder to the ground, lifting the other arm up, bending the elbow, back of the hand to the sacrum, or around the waist. So you figure out what works. And as you can feel, if you go around to your waist or you're on your sacrum, you can lift that shoulder up increasing the twist. And breathing into whatever part of your anatomy is open to breath. So here we can imagine that our ribs are actually an accordion. I went to a fantastic chamber concert last night with a classical accordionist who played Bach. It was so fantastic. But I was looking at the instrument and thinking, that's what I want my ribs to do. I want them to open up and then exhale, closing together. So we'll inhale and then exhale. Good. Now let's listen. Let's lift our arm up again and put it down. And we're going to just briefly come back into child's pose. And this is a Hatha yoga pose and a yin yoga pose. And it's very, very comforting to the lower back. Our toes are together. And you can have your knees wide. And you can just rest your forehead on the floor. If that's not available to you, you could use a block to support your head. And you do you. And we're just stretching our arms out and stretching our hips back. So this is integrating our shoulder work and the hip movements we did earlier. So we'll stretch our arms out and our hips back. And inhaling into our back body, we're going to walk towards the right and stretch our left arm forward and our left hip back. Breathing into that left side body, feeling a sense of release. You might feel your shoulder really waking up at this point. And now we're going to walk towards the other side and stretch the other arm and hip out. And of course, yin yoga is all about you finding the limit of your body, your edge, and challenging yourself a little bit, not with pain, but with the discomfort that comes from moving a little bit beyond your zone, and really working to develop resilience. All right, now we'll come back to the center. And now we're going to come forward and just move into a puppy pose. So we're stretching our arms out, our hips are above our knees, and we're walking our hands forward so that we are actually a kind of like a sling where our armpits are opening. And to deepen this, you could use 2 blocks. You could put your hands on 2 blocks and sink down even further. So you find your edge, what's comfortable. And of course, if you're in pain, you must come out of it. If it's just uncomfortable, then you can sort of let up and then move back into it. And muscles are such fascinating parts of our body, and often just maintaining them in one outstretched place is not an adequate response, because they sometimes can move further if we actually release them slightly and then move back into the pose. It will allow a little bit further extension. So we're just staying here for a minute or two, and we're breathing into our back body and into our open chest here. We'll take 3 more breaths here. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And last time. And now we're going to walk our hands back and sit on our toes. We're going to do a toe squat. So we'll turning our toes under. If you have recalcitrant baby toes, you can use your fingers to turn your baby toes under. And we're going to sit up and really feel that we are on our, sitting on our heels. And if it's too much for you, you can, of course, come forward. You could let your feet out, your toes released if you like, or you could just come back into it. So we're going to sit. I will set a timer so I'm not torturous here. And we'll just sit here and feel a sense of endurance. This is a bit of an endurance test, but I am a witness to the process of toe squats, which have become much easier over time. And they are intended to develop our balance. We need mobile toes in order to be balanced. If we don't have good balance, we can fall and die. That's sort of the lesson of falling when you're over, I think, 65 or 60, I can't remember. But if you fall, you have a much greater chance of death within 5 years. So it's a very serious thing to have mobile toes. So let's let's clasp our fingers and stretch them up, and then stretch our hands out, the heels of our hands. This is good for our wrists if we're doing a lot of downward dogs. And then we're lifting up, pressing out through our hands, the outside of our hands, and then we'll do the same thing, pressing out with our wrists. We're going to come up like a spider, up the drain spout, and then out and around, remembering that little childhood rhyme that we say to grandchildren or our children or ourselves. Good. And now we're going to make close our thumb with our fingers, press very, very hard, stretching our arms out, and then we're going to open our fingers up, flicking them out. So we're flicking out whatever it is that is extraneous and bothering us. So our intention here is release of what it is that ails us so that we can be present to ourselves. All right. So that is now 2 minutes and a little bit more probably. And we're just going to lift up and slap the tops of our feet on the mat. It's one of the most satisfying moves you'll do all day. All right. Good. Now let's come up now into downward dog. We're in a good spot for it. So we can turn those toes under. And we're moving up into downward dog. And here I'll invite you to stay on your toes and bend your knees. Draw your chest towards your thighs. And then draw your heels down. And try and maintain your belly on your thigh. Of course, it's impossible, but it is a movement that will allow you to stretch a little bit more. Good. And now, if you like, you can pedal your feet a little bit, just moving your feet and your deepening the stretch of your hamstrings and your calves, especially at this point. And if you like, you can come into downward dog and just as an experiment, put your heels together and turn your toes out. Now, we all have different hips, so this might not be satisfying for some of you. But give it a go, and you'll find your heels will go further down. And at the same time, I'm pressing back in my thighs. So this is a very interesting variation for the downward dog. And while we're doing this, you'll just notice, listen to your shoulders. Where are they? And see if you can tilt your tailbone down slightly and rotate the upper arm out so that here we are allowing, you can shake your head slightly, rotate your neck, look from side to side, feel it release. And we're just holding the downward dog for time here. And we'll breathe into our back body and breathe into our front body, side body, feeling a sense of release. If you like, you can hum. You could inhale and then exhale through your lips, feeling the hum, the movement, the vibration on your lips as you exhale, and then inhale and feel the vibration of the hum in your throat. So we're inhaling and humming. Inhaling and humming. And last time, inhaling and humming. And let's lift up on our toes and come back into a child's pose and draw your arms along the side of your lower legs and just rest your head. And let's do a few more of those hums because the vibrations are supposed to be very good for you. So we'll just inhale, exhale, humming. Inhale, hum. Inhale, exhale. Good. Now let's come up onto into our dragon pose, which is we're just on our knees and we'll lift our it's a kind of low lunge pose, so we'll lift our foot up, and we can do some arm movements here just while we're keeping our legs still. We'll look up at our thumb, opening our arms wide, and then we'll stretch our palms out. And we'll look up again, and we'll stretch our palms out. We'll move our shoulders, opening our shoulders here, using our elbows and our arms, slowly just feeling the expansiveness of our arms, like wings opening up. Good. Now let's move our foot forward or our leg back, and we can stretch back here into a pose that allows us to open up that hip flexor. And you can stay here. If you like, you could put your hand down here on the inside of your foot and lift the back leg up. You could put both hands down on the inside of that leg, pressing the back heel out and also pressing the knee up. Now, if that's too much for you, you can leave your knee on the ground. This is the sort of beginning of a lizard pose. And it's a very good yin yoga pose. We're going to just stay here up for a moment. You could have blocks. You could be much higher up if you like. And if you are interested, you can come down. So you could come down, if you have blocks, you could come down onto the floor, or you could come down onto your elbows. And here you can, if you like, let the front foot turn out a bit. You have to be careful of your knee, so always keep your foot flexed. And that helps protect your knee. So don't feel any stretch in your knee at all. If you do, then just come out of it. So here we are. And you could be down here with your knee down. Perfectly good pose. We're all not competing with anyone. We simply are listening to our body, becoming very present to it and working from where we are. So you do you. And now I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to go into a little twist. So here I'll put my hand on the inside of that foot and I will lift the back knee up and twist towards that front bent knee, lifting the arm up. And we'll just stay here for a moment, stretching, opening, feeling a tremendous power in the pose. If it's too much for your shoulder, just bend the elbow and draw your hand around into a bind, or put the back of your hand on your sacrum. Good. All right, now we're going to lower that knee and walk back. Bring that front foot back with the straight leg, and you could draw that foot in, the top of the foot in, and lengthen out over that leg. So here we're just lengthening the hamstring. And this is a good method because sometimes when we're working in downward dog or in wide leg forward fold, we can potentially overstretch the upper part of our hamstring where it attaches to the bony bits. And those are quite delicate tendons that can be overstretched. And I did that when I was doing my advanced teacher training. And it took me months to kind of basically get it all back to normal. So this is very good because it does stretch out the calf muscle and make sure that your hamstring stretches move all the way along your leg. All right, now we'll come forward again and we'll just stretch this out just for a second and then we'll draw that leg back. Good. All right, so we'll do our the other foot forward into dragon, and we'll do a few opening stretches with our palms out, with the backs of our hands out, and we can do a very nice stretch with our hands clasped. And here, one thing to remember is when we do our yoga, we often do belly breathing. And the tendency is to think of the belly, I think because we do belly breathing, as soft, when in fact, if you are working in your yoga practice, it's really good to keep about 20% of your muscle tensed in your lower abdomen. And that's the way you should be when you're walking. One of my teachers is very adamant about that we have to maintain that. So in Pilates, they do a lot of work with your lower abdomen, and it's important to keep that sense of drawing the lower abdomen in about 20%. It's not a lot, just to keep your postural position optimal. Good. All right. So now let's just, we've just been up in dragon for a moment. Now we're going to draw either that front foot forward, or you can draw the back leg back. We're stretching our hip flexor here. And we can have a block here, if we like, or two blocks if we're up. If it's too much for us to come down, we can come down here. We could, if we like, we can come down onto our forearms onto blocks, or we could come down to the floor, you do you, and we can keep our back knee down here, or we can turn our toes under, lift our back knee up and press out through the back foot. And so here we are pressing into the toes, we're pressing into the heel, we are making sure that the front foot, we could be on the outside edge of our front foot if that feels more comfortable, but we must have the front foot flexed in order to protect our knee. And we can just breathe here. So one side will be different than the other. And you are invited just to listen to where you are. We're lovely asymmetrical beings, sometimes unpredictable and full of surprises. And this is a practice where learning to be compassionate to yourself is really important. Taking care of us, we often take care of others, but we don't do too much for ourselves. So our practice is really a gift to ourselves. And we're learning to be compassionate to others so we can be compassionate. Sorry, we're learning to be compassionate to ourselves so we can be compassionate to others. All right, now let's put that knee down and come up. And now we can go into our twist here. So we'll put our hand, you can put it on a block or on the floor. We can lift the back leg up or leave it down, and we can rotate around and look up and lift our arm up and look towards our hand or whatever we can manage. So you do you. You find your best way through these poses. Here I'm pressing out through my heel and I'm pressing my back thigh up and twisting. I can lower my arm if I like. Now we're going to come back with our hands on the inside and we're going to stretch that front leg up, draw the back foot in, and here we're in pyramid pose. And once again, you could have 2 blocks here and draw that front hip back just to regulate your hips so that they're facing the short end of the mat. And if you are up for it, you could come down on your blocks or come down to the floor. So you do you. We're always drawing that front hip back here. We're breathing. Good. We're just drawing that front hip back. Good. All right. So we're in pyramid pose. And if we like, we could do a twist here as well. So we could put our hand on the block on the inside, do a revolved triangle, and open up, pressing into the back heel, and feeling our torso extend as we draw that front hip back and revolve. Good. We can lower that hand down. And now we're going to walk over into our wide leg forward fold with our blocks, if you like. And I'm just going to find a space where my feet are comfortable so they can be facing the long end, their toes can be facing the long end of the mat. You can have them slightly turned out or whatever is good for your hips, which are all quite individual. And I'm just stretching my arms out here. And this reminds me of my puppy pose, which is a beautiful, beautiful shoulder opener. And if you like, you could be on the ground without blocks. Perfectly good pose. And here I am working with my tailbone. I'm tilting my pelvis down, seeing how does that feel. And then I'm tilting my tailbone up and seeing how that feels. You'll feel it allows for more elongation of the hamstring and of the muscles in your inner leg. So here I'm integrating some hatha poses into a yin practice, but we're holding them for extended time periods in order to really breathe into the pose and to find ourselves possibly in a different place in them. Now we're going to walk over. I'm walking over to my left leg, and you could be up on your blocks here. And I'm just going to clasp my left ankle, and I'm going to draw my elbows out so that I am extending down. Now here, you want to make sure you don't overstretch that tendon at the top of your hamstring. So you monitor it, listen to your body, and if you do overstretch it, just bend your knee. If you feel that it's too tense, just bend that knee. And now we're going to walk over to the other leg and bend the knee or straighten it. And here we're drawing ourselves down, or we're out on our blocks with enough height that we're comfortable. So here it is about feeling the discomfort, but not the pain, and of staying with it long enough to settle into it and develop a bit of resilience here. All right, now let's come back to the center. We're going to bring our hands between our feet, and you bring your hands back only as far as you can keep the heel of your hand on the ground. And here I'm going to invite you, if you have a block nearby, just to keep your arms bent so your elbows are moving back, your hands are close to between your knees, and you can drop your head down. Now I can't reach the floor, but I can put the crown of my head on a block, and it's quite an interesting experience here. It's so you might have your block further up, or you might just let your head hang down. So you do you. And I like the experience of having the crown touch something. The crown chakra is an energy center, and I like the feeling of the energy in my legs and in my spine, and that sense of a space at the top. And I'm just breathing here. All right, now once again, I'm going to just bring my hands out underneath my shoulders. And here I can either lift my arms up straight so that my upper arms are at my ears, or I can put my hands on my hips. So you do you. I'm going to have my arms extended, and I'm going to rotate up and feel a sense of power here. It's really very powerful, these poses. All right, so let's wiggle our feet in and stand in Tadasana and see how we feel. We might be a little imbalanced because we've only done our pyramid pose on one side, but let's see how we feel just standing in Tadasana and breathing. All right, so let's come back the other way. We're going to go into pyramid on the other side. So our feet are about 3 feet apart, and we have a block nearby, and we're twisting twisting our hips towards the short end of the mat. We're tilting over the hip crease there, and we're coming down, and you could have several blocks here if you would like, or you can come down further, and once again the the attachment at the top of that tendon at the top of the hamstring. You need to tend to that. And you could be on blocks, or you could be on the fingers on the floor. And we are just pressing back with our back thigh and our front thigh. We're drawing our front hip back and dangling our head, letting it go. Good. Now we're going to just, you can draw a block hand into the inside of your front foot, plant your hand, and twist, revolve around. So this is a revolved triangle. We're drawing the front hip back, maintaining the grounding in our feet, pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, and releasing your spine. You can turn your head and look up. I have a problem with my neck, so I don't do that, but you do you. All right, and now we're going to revolve back around, and we'll come up, back up into pyramid pose, and come to our standing pose. And once again, let's just feel the weight of our body. We can tilt towards our toe mounds and then tilt back towards our heel, finding a center and feeling the magnanimous puppeteer draw that string from the top of our crown chakra up towards a star high above us. And we'll feel that bony bit at the base of the sternum, the xiphoid process, and the pelvis on the same plane. So we might want to draw our pelvis forward slightly or our chest back slightly so that we maintain postural coherence. All right, good. All right, now let's come down to the mat, and we will do butterfly. So this is just, so Baddha Konasana is up here, and we can draw our feet away from our tailbone. You could have a blanket to sit on to tilt your hips slightly forward, which is always a good thing for most people. It saves your lower back. And so here we are. We have quite a large diamond here. We have our heels together. The tops of our feet are open so that we're sort of opening like a book. So your feet will be, all of our feet will be different. And we're going to just sit up here, and you could put your hands on your shins. You could open your palms and touch your index finger and your thumb together in a mudra with your palms up. And you can just breathe into your chest and into your belly and into your ribs. So we'll do some belly breathing. We'll just breathe into our belly and our ribs and our upper chest. And then we'll breathe out from top down. So it's like we're drinking water here. Inhaling, belly, ribs, chest, and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And now we can move forward. We can really just make our back into that cat posture of really curving the spine and draw ourselves forward, however much you can go. If it's too much on your legs, you could put blocks underneath your knees to maintain support, or you can just let them open. And here we are, we can feel our nose moving towards our toes here as we're moving down. So it's a movement, it's a lengthening and also a descent. So those two things are happening at the same time. And we'll just rest here. Wherever you are is good. It's where you are. Breathing into our back, especially. And we could try a few hums here. You can feel the vibrations in your body, in your lips, in your mouth, and in your throat, and then all the way down your spine. And depending on what part of your body is touching what other part of your body, you can feel it vibrating all through your body. So we'll inhale and hum. We'll exhale through our mouth and hum. Hum. Inhale. Hum. Inhale. And now we're just going to roll up. So anytime you want to roll up, you're welcome to. And we'll use our hands to draw our knees in, and we'll extend our legs out and just slap them on the ground. All right. So let's just draw our right leg in and put it into a kind of a seated tree pose. And here we're going to pivot slightly towards the opposite leg and draw our hands down our shin. You could have a strap here if that makes you feel more comfortable. And we have a straight back at the very beginning, and then we're just going to draw ourselves down. This is half butterfly pose. And you could hold on to the, take your hand and opposite hand and put it on the outside of your shin, and that will turn you slightly towards that extended leg. So it's a small twist and an elongation of the spine. And now we're going to roll up. And we'll extend the other leg out, pressing out through the heel, drawing that foot into the thigh. And if you have a sore knee, you could put something behind the knee to give it a little bit of a space. I always find that's very helpful. And so we're pivoting slightly towards that leg. We're going down. You could have straps here, or you could just go down and draw your hand down, holding onto the outer edge of your shin or your foot, whatever it is that's good for you. And we will, I will set the timer on this side too, so that we are staying for time. So here I'm extending the straight spine down as far as I can. And then I'm just allowing myself to fold over the leg in this half butterfly. And you can, of course, just let the hand go and just suspend yourself here. Gravity will be one of the things that will be working with us in helping us in our half butterfly. And with our breath, we can feel ourselves as we inhale. We rise up slightly, and as we exhale, we can imagine the crown of our head moving towards our foot. So it's an elongation of the spine, as well as a descent. So yin poses are, we hold the pose, but they're never static because our breath invites us to movement, even if it's a kind of internal movement. All right, and let's just roll up, extend that leg out, and we're going to just shake our feet out a bit. Right, now we're going to do a fire log pose, which we did a little bit earlier. And if you like, you can do either fire log, which is your one foot on top of the other, and both of your feet are flexed, and your knees, one knee is over top of the foot, one foot is over top of the knee, and you can simply, you could put your hands beside you, pressing into the mat to really lift your torso up. If that's too much, you can just extend one leg out and have one leg bend. And we're going to just, this is really good for your hip opening. And here we're just staying with our breath, feeling a sense of surrender to the pose. Breathing. And you can relax your hands. Just put your upturned palms on your knees. You could have a mudra here if you like, with your fingers together. Or you could just relax your hands. And now we're going to change our legs. So you put the other foot on top of the knee. And we'll just stay here for a moment or two. If your back is stiff while you're here, you could put one hand on your thigh and twist slightly to the side and lift up. And then you could turn, pressing your fingers into the ground in the back and your hand on your thigh and twist the other way, and then come back to the pose. So if you feel really any kind of discomfort in your upper torso, you can twist a little and find your way back to your seat. And once again, it's that magnanimous puppeteer drawing your crown chakra up. And you feel very grounded in your sit bones. All right, so let's extend our legs out and put them wide as the mat. And we're going to do some slow windshield wipers just to help our hips find their way back or to a new place that's a good place. So we're just dropping one knee in. and then the other. And really, you can do it slowly. You could speed it up, whatever feels good for you in this transitional pose. Good. Now let's just extend our legs out. We did some open, let's extend our legs out in dragonfly. And here I'm just going to keep my arms straight and my back straight and walk forward. And then I'm going to just allow myself to curve my back. Good. Now, from there, let's just do just a very short walk over from one side to the other. So you'll notice that we're just repeating some movements, but from different places. So we're taking the same shape, but at a different moment in the class. And you'll find that your body will respond differently to it. I'm just moving over, just drawing my hands across and feeling a twist here, as well as imagining that my torso, the crown of my head, is extending out further towards my feet. And when I'm here on the side, I am drawing that the other hip back, so that the hip bone back, so that I am maintaining two sit bones on the floor. All right, so here we go. And we'll bring our feet back in, and we'll come forward onto our belly, and we'll just do a seal here. So we'll do just a cobra to begin with. We'll put our hands under our shoulders and just draw our shoulders up, our back, and our head into a low cobra. And then we're going to extend our arms out. And now you can stay in a cobra or you can come down whenever you like. But I have my pelvis on the ground, and I have the tops of my feet are on the ground, and I'm pressing into my hands, and I'm really working to feel that my spine is curving all the way up. So you find what works for you, and you don't want any pain in your lower back. If you have pain in your lower back, just come down to your elbows and stay in Sphinx pose. And if that's too much, just come down and make a pillow with your hands and put your cheek on your hands. But otherwise, we can stay up in this seal pose, which is a serious back bend. And we can breathe here into our ribs all the way around. And feel as though, once again, the elongation of the spine is from the base of the spine. It's curving up and around. All the way, the bones in your ears are the top of your axial skeleton. So you have a possibility of curling your ears. All right. And we're really pressing into our hands and breathing. So surrender is a word that it's hard to surrender. I find it hard to surrender because I'm very stubborn. But surrendering to the pose allows you to, I think, deepen your pose, your shape. And now we can just come down vertebra by vertebra, and we'll make a pillow with our hands and place our cheek on our pillow, and we'll breathe a few breaths on one side, and then we'll turn our cheek and breathe a few breaths on the other. And now we're going to press into our hands and come back towards child's pose. Just stretch our arms out, just in a nice counterpoint to our what we were doing a minute ago. And then we're going to come over onto our back, and we'll do another lovely back bend. And we'll draw our feet into our hips. You could have a block nearby if you like, and you could put a block underneath your sacrum. But we're going to just curl our pelvis up, and vertebra by vertebra, we're coming up. We won't go into the full pose yet, and then we'll roll back down. We'll do that one more time, just curving our pelvis up, and then extending our pelvis up, and then rolling back down. And then this time, we're going to come all the way up, and you can clasp your hands underneath your shoulders and press your thighs up, and your pelvis, and your chest. And we're breathing, and we're pressing our feet into the ground and our upper arms into the ground. And we're breathing into our chest and into our belly and into our ribs, into the front ribs and the back ribs, pressing up again, pressing our thighs up, pressing our knees towards the opposite wall as our thighs are coming up. And now we're going to just come down slowly, extending our arms out and coming down vertebra by vertebra. And we'll draw our knees into our chest, and we'll roll from side to side here. Very nice. Now we'll do just a very easy twist here. So we'll put our figure 4 ankle on our knee, draw the shin up, clasp the shin or the back of the thigh. And I like to rock here a little bit. And you can press your elbow into your opposite thigh and press that knee out while you're drawing the other one in. And this really helps you stretch out your glute a little bit. Good. And now we're just going to extend our arms out and drop our foot onto the ground in a twist. And here you can just draw that foot underneath the other leg if you like, and put your hand on the outer thigh and stretch your arm, the opposite arm, out while you are looking at the hand. So here my legs are going to my left, and my left hand is on top of my right thigh, while my right hand is extended out. And I'm breathing here. Now, rolling back onto my spine, I have both feet on the ground. I'm finding my center again, lifting the opposite leg up into figure 4, drawing that shin in, pressing the elbow out into that thigh, feeling that lovely stretching of the glute. And I like to wiggle a bit here. And now I'm dropping that foot on the ground, extending my arm out, looking at the opposite hand, and I can just drape my hand on the thigh deepening slightly that twist. Now we're rolling back, finding our feet on the floor, centering our spine, and then we can just extend our legs out and have our you can adjust your lift your hips up and adjust yourself so that you're comfortable. And I like to lift my shoulders off the ground, draw my shoulder blades down my spine to open my chest out a little bit, and then I have my palms turned up. And I'm feeling a sense of release here and of gratitude that I have spent this time with you, that I have really tended to my body and my breath, my mind and my spirit. And I feel the lines on my forehead let go. I feel the scalp let go. The skin on my cheeks is letting go. My tongue is falling into my lower jaw. My lips are slightly parted. And I'm just settling into my mat. My breath is slowing. And I'm just going to stay in silence for a few moments. And this is a season of poppies here. So this is a poem, Poppies, by Mary Oliver. The poppies send up their orange flares, swaying in the wind. Their congregations are a levitation of bright dust, of thin and lacy leaves. There isn't a place in this world that doesn't sooner or later drown in the indigos of darkness. But now, for a while, the roughage shines like a miracle as it floats above everything with its yellow hair. Of course, nothing stops the cold, black, curved blade from hooking forward. Of course, loss is the great lesson. But also, I say this, that light is an invitation to happiness, and that happiness, when it's done right, is a kind of holiness, palpable and redemptive. Inside the bright fields, touched by their rough and spongy gold, I am washed and washed in the river of earthly delight. And what are you going to do? What can you do about it? Deep blue night. And I'll invite you to come back to your self. Feel the energy circulating with your breath from your fingertips to your toes. You might want to stretch your arms above your head and stretch your toes out. Or you might want to draw your knees into your chest and come towards your side and a sitting position. And I'll invite you to put one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Inhale and exhale, linking up that heart with your power center, your hara just below your navel, empowering your heart for this day. The teacher in me sees and honors the teacher in you, and the student in me sees and honors the student in you. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Deep bows. And I'll dedicate the merit of this practice to those suffering in war everywhere.